Teaching articles to Ukrainian learners can indeed be a bit challenging due to the absence of articles in the Ukrainian language. However, there are several step-by-step strategies you can employ to help your Ukrainian learners understand and use articles in English effectively. Start by explaining the concept of articles in English in general. Emphasize that English uses articles to provide specific information about nouns and their context. Highlight the differences between English and Ukrainian in terms of articles. Explain that while Ukrainian doesn't have articles, English uses them to convey specific meanings and distinctions. Consider the sentence, I love the books. Here there indicates a particular set of books, suggesting the listener is familiar with which books are being referred to. Articles can also provide more clarity. In English, a before cat indicates any cat. But if we say I saw the cat, it refers to a specific cat, perhaps one previously mentioned or known to both speaker and listener. If you decide to teach articles comprehensively, there is a plan for you on the slide. Remember, you should be teaching both definite and indefinite articles bite-sized, without overwhelming the learners. Step 1. Introduce the concept of countable and uncountable nouns like liquids, abstract concepts, and so on. Provide examples of countable nouns, for example, dog, book, and uncountable nouns. Then, provide some examples of common uncountable nouns which are provided on this slide, like ideas and experiences, materials and substances, weather words, names for groups or collection of things, other common uncountable nouns. Then proceed to explaining the learners on how to use indefinite articles with countable and uncountable nouns. Please mention that we can use article an with singular countable nouns, for example, a beach, a student, an umbrella. But we cannot use singular uncountable nouns alone. Do you want a banana? There's been an accident. We can use plural countable nouns alone. For example, I like bananas, accidents can be prevented. Then move on talking about uncountable nouns. Please mention that we do not use indefinite articles with uncountable nouns. So we don't say a sand, a water, a music, a rice. But we can use a with a phrase with of, for example, a bowl of rice, a packet of crisps, and so on. And we can use uncountable nouns alone. For example, I eat rice, there is blood on your shirt, and so on. After that, please devote some time to practice. You can use an activity suggested on this slide where learners need to correct the sentences where necessary. After that, proceed to part 2. Explain the usage of the indefinite articles a and an. Generally, we use a before countable nouns that start with a consonant sound, like a dog, a book. We use an before countable nouns that start with a vowel sound, like an apple, an hour. Then explain the specific cases when we need to apply indefinite articles a and an. For example, to say what kind of thing something is or what kind of person somebody is. For example, that's a nice table. Please mention that we do not use articles if there is plural. For example, those are nice chairs. It's a great way of explaining articles if you look at the pairs of sentences like provided on the slide. For example, a dog is an animal, but dogs are animals. I am an optimist, singular, but we are optimists. My father is a doctor. There is singular job mentioned, but my parents are both doctors. It's great if you demonstrate these cases in parallel so the learners can see the contrast, compare them. Then study the example below. For example, I had a sandwich and an apple for lunch. So the person says a sandwich and an apple because this is the first time he talks about them. But the sandwich wasn't very good, and the apple was nice. Now the person says the sandwich and the apple because we know which sandwich and which apple he means, the sandwich and the apple he had for lunch. It's important to compare the usage of a and the in the following examples. Let's look at one more case. A man and a woman were sitting opposite me. The man was American, but I think the woman was British. Please emphasize to your learners that when we mention the object or the person for the second time, or when it is known to the listener and speaker, we need to be opting for definite article then. Then proceed to step 3. Discuss generally the difference between the indefinite articles and the definite article the. Explain that the is used when we are referring to a specific or particular item known to everyone engaged in the conversation. Look at the examples and discuss them with your learners. Mention that we use the when we are talking of a specific things. For example, Tim sat down on a chair. Maybe there are many chairs in the room and he sat on one of them. But in the contrary, Tim sat down on the chair nearest to the door. So we mean a specific chair. Do you have a car? So we ask generally, not meaning a specific car. But I cleaned the car yesterday, meaning that you washed your own car. Also, we use when we say what kind of thing or person we mean. Compare with your learners. We stayed at a very cheap hotel. So this is a type of hotel described. But the hotel where we stayed was very cheap. Here we emphasize a specific hotel and provide its characteristics. Also mention that we use the when it is clear which scene or person we mean. For example, in a room we talk about the light, the floor, the ceiling, the door, the carpet, and etc. Can you turn off the light, please? I took a taxi to the station. So there's one station in your city. There's no other station we could be going to. We also say go to the bank, to the post office, so highlight these set phrases to your learners to make them memorize them. I have to go to the bank and then I'm going to the post office. The speaker is usually thinking of a specific bank or post office he or she needs to go to, and go to the doctor and go to the dentist. Then comes the practice. Please use the exercise provided in the slide to make your learners practice definite and indefinite articles. Well, if your learner is more advanced and seeks for more in-depth understanding of articles, this part comes for them. Here you should focus on using the articles and zero articles or no article at all. Explain that no article is used when talking about general concepts of things in a no specific way. Contrast the use of the specific and the absence of an article general in sentences. Please focus on the activities and explanations provided on these slides to talk about geographical names and proper names to use article the and nothing there. Please review this in more details. I'm not going to read this for you now. There are more details about using the or no article with some specific words, specific phrases, some historical periods, events, some specific words. So please do review them with your learners, focus on them step by step, provide your own examples, and it will become clearer and clearer for your learner. Then, of course, comes the practice. Please make sure to use this activity to ask your learners to put in there or a where necessary, or at all leave the space empty if they need to use zero article. Each of these steps builds upon the previous one, helping learners gradually understand the nuances of using articles with countable and uncountable nouns. Make sure to provide plenty of examples and practice exercises for each step, as practical application is key to mastering this aspect of English grammar. As we wrap up our journey through articles, it's crucial to remember that mastering articles requires time, patience, and consistent effort. Just like building a good foundation, acquiring articles is a step-by-step process. So be patient and good luck. Please make sure to check out the description for this video for more exercises to practice articles. Good luck!